The sun dips below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows that dance in the stillness of a summer night. These are not just stories, they are warnings for the summer nights. The old Victorian house stood on a windswept bluff overlooking the sea, its once grand facade now weathered and worn, like a faded beauty clinging to the last vestiges of her youth. It had stood there for over a century, a silent sentinel to the ebb and flow of time, and a witness to the dark secrets that lay hidden within its walls. We had rented the house for a summer getaway, lured by its charm and the promise of breathtaking ocean views. The real estate agent had been quick to dismiss the local rumors surrounding the house, brushing them off as mere superstition. But as we soon discovered, some legends are rooted in a truth far more terrifying than any fiction. From the moment we stepped inside, a palpable sense of unease settled over us. The air was heavy with the weight of unseen eyes, the silence broken only by the creaking of the floorboards beneath our feet. The furniture was draped in dust covers, giving the impression that the house had been frozen in time, patiently awaiting our arrival. As we explored our temporary home, we couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Shadows seemed to dance at the edge of our vision, vanishing as quickly as they appeared. Doors creaked open and slammed shut, seemingly of their own accord. And at night we were plagued by strange noises, unexplained cold spots, and the overwhelming sense that we were not alone. One evening, as we gathered in the dimly lit parlor, we stumbled upon an old journal hidden beneath a stack of dusty books. Its leather cover was cracked and faded, the pages yellowed with age. Curiosity got the better of us, and we huddled together, our hearts pounding with anticipation as we began to read. The journal belonged to a young woman who had lived in the house generations ago. Her words painted a chilling portrait of a life plagued by tragedy and despair. She wrote of strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and the constant feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. As we delved deeper into the journal, we realized with growing horror that the events the young woman described were eerily similar to our own experiences. She wrote of a malevolent presence that haunted the house, a darkness that fed on the fear and sorrow of its inhabitants. According to the journal, the young woman had been driven to madness by the relentless torment she endured within the walls of the cursed summer house. She had taken her own life in the very room where we now sat, her final act a desperate attempt to escape the horrors that plagued her. We slammed the journal shut, our hearts pounding in our chests. The room suddenly felt colder, the shadows darker. We could feel the hair on the back of our necks prickling with a chilling awareness that we had stumbled upon something sinister, something that we were not meant to know. Panic surged through us as we realized that we were trapped in the same nightmare that had driven the young woman to madness. We gathered our belongings and made a desperate dash for the front door, but as we fumbled with the lock, the house seemed to come alive around us. The lights flickered and died, plunging us into darkness. The temperature plummeted and a bone-chilling cold seeped into our bones. The floorboards groaned beneath our feet as if something heavy was moving towards us from the shadows. We could hear the young woman's laughter echoing through the house, filled with a chilling madness that sent shivers down our spines. The campfire crackled merrily, casting dancing shadows against the towering trees that surrounded our campsite. We were a group of friends, young and carefree, eager to escape the city and embrace the peace and quiet of the great outdoors. Little did we know that the woods held a darkness that would whisper our names and haunt our dreams. It started subtly at first, a rustling in the underbrush, a twig snapping under an unseen foot. We laughed it off, attributing the sounds to the nocturnal wanderings of forest creatures. But as the night deepened, so did the unsettling noises. Whispers seemed to emanate from the darkness just beyond the reach of our firelight. Soft, indistinct murmurs that sent shivers down our spines. We strained our ears, trying to make sense of the sounds, but the whispers remained frustratingly elusive. One by one, our laughter died down, replaced by an uneasy silence. We huddled closer to the fire as if seeking solace in its warmth. The darkness beyond the firelight seemed to press in on us, a living, breathing entity filled with unseen eyes. Then one of our friends let out a gasp, her eyes wide with terror. She pointed a trembling finger towards the edge of the woods. "Did you see that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. We all turned to look, our hearts pounding in our chests. For a fleeting moment, we thought we saw a figure standing among the trees, its form shrouded in shadow, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, it was gone. We tried to convince ourselves it was just a trick of the firelight, our imaginations running wild. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. The woods no longer felt welcoming, instead they felt oppressive, filled with an unseen menace that watched our every move. As the night wore on, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to be all around us, closing in, taunting us with their proximity. We took turns keeping watch, our nerves on edge, every creak of a branch, every rustle of leaves sending our hearts racing. Sleep was impossible. Every time we closed our eyes, we were plagued by images of shadowy figures lurking just beyond our sight, their whispers echoing in our ears. We were trapped in a nightmare, surrounded by an unseen terror that we couldn't escape. Then, just before dawn, the whispers reached a fever pitch. It was as if the entire forest was alive with unseen voices closing in on our campsite. We huddled together, our eyes darting nervously around us, our bodies trembling with fear. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the night. We all jumped to our feet, our hearts pounding in our chests. One of our friends was standing at the edge of the campsite, her eyes wide with terror, her finger pointing towards the woods. "It's got him!" she screamed, her voice raw with panic. "Something's got him!" We rushed to her side, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. Lying on the ground, his face contorted in a mask of terror, was our friend. His eyes were wide open, staring vacantly into the darkness, and his mouth was frozen in a silent scream. We were never able to explain what happened that night. The police found no evidence of foul play, no signs of a struggle. It was a perfect summer night. The kind of night that makes you forget your worries, kick off your shoes, and wander barefoot along the shoreline. The sand was still warm from the day's sun, and a gentle breeze whispered across the water. I was alone, or at least I thought I was. I'd been walking for what felt like hours, lost in my thoughts, the rhythmic crash of the waves, a soothing soundtrack to my solitary stroll. It was then I noticed it, a flicker of movement out of the corner of my eye. Just a fleeting glimpse, easily dismissed as a trick of the moonlight. But as I continued my walk, the feeling of unease grew stronger. The hairs on the back of my neck prickled with a chilling awareness that I was not alone. Each time I thought I glimpsed something, it would vanish as quickly as it appeared. A fleeting shadow, a ripple in the darkness where there should be none. The breeze picked up, now a cold, damp wind that sent shivers down my spine. The warmth of the summer night seemed to evaporate, replaced by an icy dread that seeped into my bones. I quickened my pace, my heart pounding in my chest. The soft sand suddenly heavy and difficult to navigate. The once comforting solitude of the beach now felt oppressive, suffocating. I kept telling myself it was just my imagination, but deep down, a primal fear told me otherwise. Then I heard it, a soft, almost inaudible sound. A shuffling, dragging sound. It was coming from behind me, moving closer with each step I took. I didn't want to turn around, terrified of what I might see. My breath caught in my throat, my legs felt like lead, but some instinct for self-preservation kicked in and I broke into a run. The soft sand made it nearly impossible to gain any real speed, my lungs burned and my legs screamed for me to stop. But the fear of what was behind me spurred me on. The sound grew louder, closer. The dragging, shuffling sound was now accompanied by a low, guttural growl, sending waves of terror crashing over me. I didn't dare look back. I didn't need to. I could feel its presence closing in on me, a palpable darkness that threatened to engulf me. Just when I thought my legs would give out, I saw the lights of a distant beach house, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness. With the last ounce of strength I could muster, I surged forward, the sounds of my pursuer echoing in my ears. I didn't stop running until I reached the safety of the porch light. Collapsing against the wall, gasping for breath. As I turned to face the beach, my blood ran cold. As the embers of our campfire die down and the chill of the night air settles in, remember these tales. They serve as a stark reminder that beneath the warmth of summer, darkness lingers. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to like and subscribe for more chilling tales.